In this video we'll be taking a look at Windows XP. Oh, wait a minute, that's not right. Windows XP won't work on hardware as good as mine, will it? No, what we're looking at is Tails, the Amnesic Incognito Live System. So it's a Linux distribution that uses the Tor network for complete anonymity when you're searching around or looking around on the internet. It comes as a live CD based system, which you could use as on a DVD or a USB. So you could just plug it into a computer where your internet access would be unsecured or maybe heavily monitored, and then you can go on the internet with complete protection, or fairly good protection I think might be the right word there. And you'll see here I've gone on hostip.info, because actually a lot of these geolocation websites don't like the Tor network. They refuse to give the actual location. So that's given me as the IP address of that, which is not my IP address at all, and the location of Costa Rica. I wish I was in Costa Rica actually, that would be pretty nice. Now if I get bored of that IP, or just want to choose a different one for the sake of it, well anyway, let's show you. Go to a new identity, go to the same website again. This loses some of the settings on the XP system. There's actually two modes of it. You can go on to a traditional GNOME 2 based system, which is on Debian, was it 6? That's Squeeze, isn't it, I think? Or you can use this XP styled system. So maybe if you don't want people nosing around at what you're up to, you could use this instead. And well, if you're sitting in a coffee shop, no one's going to look twice at this. They're not even going to take a second glance at this system. It's Windows XP, so yeah, boring. We've all seen it. Ah, look, location. Actually, we haven't got a clue. Sweet. And you'll see the IP address has changed. Right, I've booted up into the GNOME 2 version of the system. So there's just a options screen right at the beginning, just before you log on. So looking around at the desktop, you've got shortcuts for Nautilus with the computer home folder, and you can report a bug anonymously. You can look at the documentation for Tails. Oh, I had that open earlier. Right. And you'll see here the version I'm looking at is 0.16. We'll take a look at the applications that were installed on Tails. So under accessories, just a few basic accessories. Difference here, we've got this metadata anonymization toolkit. I'm not really sure what that does. So there's a few parts of this distribution which I'm really not familiar with. Right, under graphics, we have GIMP image editor, Inkscape, OpenOffice Draw, Scribus, but there's no basic image viewer. Under internet, so we've got this Clause email client, Gobi collaborative editor, I2P, not really familiar with what that does. Iceweasel web browser. Notice that it's only Iceweasel, there's no Chrome or Chromium web browser. You've got Feed Reader, Pigeon Internet Messenger, the Unsafe web browser, and Vidalia Tor GUI. Just open up the Unsafe web browser. Notice that it just mentioned there about the warnings that you're opening up the Unsafe web browser. They really do make sure your privacy is protected in this distro, and that you've got this big red warning bar here to say that you are in an unsafe web browser. Sure enough, browsing on the unsafe browser, I was able to capture the packets in Wireshark and decrypt them. Well, not decrypt them, just view them, because they weren't encrypted at all. Whereas through the normal Iceweasel web browser, I couldn't read what was going on. Anyway, carrying on, under Office, we got OpenOffice. Oh, that's pretty old. Programming has got this PO edit, but I'm really not sure what that does. Under sound and video, we've got Audacity for editing audio files, we've got Audio CD Extractor, Brazio Disc Burner, Totem Movie Player, PTV Video Editor, Sound Recorder, and Traverso, which I'm not familiar with. Notice there that we've got no audio player. Under System Tools, we'll just take a look at the System Monitor, and notice there that memory usage is pretty low. So with nothing open, I'm using 260 meg of RAM. I'm just going to open the browser, and it will go up a little bit. It goes up to, what was that, about 400 or 430 meg of RAM. Okay, still not too bad though. As long as you got, what, 500 meg of RAM, you could run this system. Probably more ideal to have about a gig of RAM. Under this Tails menu, you've got a few different options here. Configure the live CD. Yes, but I'm running from a non-USB device, so I can't run that one. I've got a USB installer. And lastly, universal access. So we've got an on-screen keyboard and we've got a screen magnifier. Here's what I thought of Tails 0.16. Now this is bearing in mind that I'm reviewing a live USB based system and not a system you're going to install and use on a day-to-day basis. Right, ease of use. Yeah, it was reasonably easy to use. Ease of installation is not applicable because you don't install it, you run it from a USB stick or DVD. So styling, I love the XP styling option of making it very nice and incognito. Other than that, yeah, it's pretty good. Boot up speed, not all that fast, but then you are booting off a USB stick. Responsiveness, it's pretty good, but in the browser, no, because that's what Tor is, it's not that quick. Number of bugs, I did notice a few minor issues on the XP desktop where you're trying to click on, say, a text box. It didn't seem to be where the text box should be. Just a few little things I found there, but didn't find the same problems when I was using the GNOME 2 based desktop. That seemed to work alright. A selection of pre-installed applications, well, there's no browser choice there, that's the only thing I've criticised them on. That some people would like to use a Chromium or Chrome, but no, you're stuck with Iceweasel. A number of applications available, again, is not applicable because of the way you're using the system. 32 and 64-bit versions, well, you've only got the 32-bit, but it is a PAE kernel, so you can use more than 3 gig of RAM, so I had to think then. Right, good points. So it's ideal for use on an unsecured or heavily monitored internet access point, and it's good how it cleans up after itself, so there's no evidence left behind that you've been using the internet that way, unless of course you left a USB stick in the machine. But the bad points, there was no GUI for setting your preferred exit node on Tor. I know there's ways of changing the settings, but it just would have been good to have a GUI for that. But overall, I've given this distro 70%. Thanks for watching, see you later.